Coming up on OU Nightly, we're tracking fire threats and severe weather threats for parts of central Oklahoma. We'll time it out. That's straight ahead.
And Sooner stars show out for the pros. We're live with the Pro Day stats. Plus, more trouble for TikTok. Hear how soon Congress could vote on banning it in the U.S. This is OU Nightly. There's two things we love to talk about in Oklahoma, touchdowns and tornadoes, and today both take center stage. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Stone Weber. We begin tonight with the threat of severe weather, and your campus weather authority says if the right conditions come together, we could see tornadoes tomorrow, Emily.
That's right. We've got the largest team of collegiate meteorologists in the country tracking this system right now. Let's get over to senior meteorologist Coy Taylor for the very latest. Coy?
Emily, Stone, if is the correct part there. We are watching this very closely. I think the ingredients are going to come together. It's a matter if we break the cap, and I'll kind of dive into that in my full forecast. What is the cap and will it break? But we are under this severe weather threat as we head into tomorrow. The timing looks to be in the afternoon and evening along the I-35 corridor, a county or two towards the west, and then much of eastern Oklahoma towards Tulsa, McAllister, and Muskogee. And then behind it, we're going to be watching a dry line advance, and that's going to be the focal point for our storms. But behind it, behind the dry line in the dry desert area, we're going to see a high and extreme fire threat. We'll track that out along with the storms in my full forecast. That's straight ahead.
Thanks, Coy. And as storm season ramps up, you'll want to sign up for OU Nightly's Weather Call. Scan the QR code on your screen to head to the App Store and enter Weather Call. For just $1 a month, you'll get a call and text when severe weather warnings are issued for campus or any area you sign up for. Be sure to also follow OU Nightly on social media. We'll be updating all watches and warnings.
And from the threat of tornadoes to the promise of touchdowns, the pros are in town taking a look at Sooner stars who hope they're NFL bound. OU Nightly's Kaylee Jo Hommel was at OU's Pro Day as players showed out for the Scouts. Kaylee Jo.
It was bittersweet for the wide receiver as he reflected on his time at Oklahoma.
So many phases of my life that I've been here, but in terms of being a player, just the people, all my teammates, all my coaches. That's what I'll always remember, especially the teammates. You just build a bond. Football's such a hard sport, and it's year-round, and the off-season is grueling. And so just being close with your guys, and it's kind of like a fraternity that you'll have for the rest of your life. And, you know, I'll never forget the memories I made here, especially off the field, in the locker room, all of that. But then especially on the field, you know, the sorrows of defeat and, you know, the great triumphs we've had, like OU Texas, all those crazy memories.
We'll have more coming up in sports.
Kaylee Jo, the fourth dean candidate in Gaylord College's search, was on campus earlier this morning, and OU Nightly's Kaylee Fan joins us live and has the latest on the newest candidate. Kaylee?
That's right. Dr. Andrea Miller, a current dean at the University of North Texas's Mayborn School of Journalism, spoke with Gaylord students, staff, and faculty earlier this morning to pitch why she is the leader the college is looking for.
I knew of Gaylord's wonderful reputation, and then the more I started doing research, the more I saw everything you all do and how it's a great fit for me and my experiences.
Miller graduated with her doctorate from the University of Missouri-Columbia and had worked as a news producer in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, a top 5 TV market, for over a decade. Although her discipline is in journalism, she promises to boost all departments.
It's about being a fair and equitable leader when it comes to resources, to making sure all of the areas and students can get funded to do things.
Miller cites her work at UNT, such as experience fundraising over $1 million for students and the creation of UNT's advertising degree, as her qualifications. She says the top thing she'd first implement if selected as dean would be opening lines of communication to all members of Gaylord.
Creating a positive environment is, again, it's really getting to know everybody and getting to know what they want to do.
Miller says diversity is also top line for her and, coming from Texas, is aware of how to navigate a rocky political landscape.
We believe in having diverse faculty and diverse students in classes with us, walking side by side with us, at the table with us, having a voice. That is important.
Miller will be leaving tomorrow, and the next candidate will be visiting the week following spring break. Reporting live outside of Gaylord Hall, Kaylee Fan, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Kaylee. Norman police say a mother and her 2 kids are okay after she was hit by a car this weekend. Many Norman residents were also at the crosswalk when the accident happened. OU Nightly's Morgan Martin joins us live from the spot where it all went down. Morgan?
Right, that happened here on Main Street and Peters Avenue in downtown Norman. Now that mom pressing the crosswalk button, waiting for the walk sign to turn on, and still she was hit by that car.
Sign is on. Walk sign is on.
It's a sound familiar to many of us, and police say it can even provide a false sense of security.
So kind of going back to those very elementary safety tips of making sure you're looking both ways before you cross.
The police report says the woman was crossing the intersection with her 2 children after the pedestrian sign signaled to walk and the light also turned green. The car making a left turn when it struck the woman.
The individual was impacted slightly and refused medical at the scene.
The mom later posted on social media that she did go to the hospital, but her injuries were not severe. That post made other Norman residents concerned it was a hit-and-run situation. Police confirmed the opposite.
And the driver did stay on scene and was cooperative with officers and was cited there at the scene.
And they say being alert when crossing any street, especially near campus, is key.
For both the motorist and the pedestrian, it becomes really important to be aware of your surroundings.
Now that driver was cited for failure to yield to a pedestrian. Norman police just reminding everyone to stay alert and be aware. In downtown Norman, Morgan Martin, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Morgan. Testimony has wrapped up in a hearing involving a special counsel report on President Joe Biden. OU Nightly's Brooke Griggs has that and the rest of today's national and international headlines from the News Center.
Former special counsel Robert Hur was under oath today defending his report into President Biden's handling of classified documents. In the report, Hur questioned Biden's age and competence, drawing criticism from lawmakers. Hur says he will not prosecute the president, but his report doesn't exonerate him either. Uvalde Police Chief Daniel Rodriguez has resigned after the city released a report defending the department for their response to the 2022 shooting at Robb Elementary School. Rodriguez was on vacation during the massacre that killed 19 children and 2 teachers. In January, the Department of Justice found, quote, cascading failures with how the police department responded to the shooting. On Capitol Hill, the Biden administration has announced a new weapons package would be sent to Ukraine worth about $300 million. The U.S. last sent a military aid package to Ukraine in December. Back then, the Pentagon said there would be no money left for the funding. But officials now say they found additional funding from savings made in weapon contracts. And Boeing is making headlines again after 50 people were injured mid-flight when their Boeing-made plane experienced a, quote, technical event. Passengers on board the flight from Australia to New Zealand described it as a sudden nosedive. Emily Stone, back to you.
Thanks, Brooke. And coming up, if you've been looking for a furry friend to add to your family, we'll introduce you to the perfect pet in Pet of the Week.
Plus, TikTok may be coming to an end in the U.S. How soon lawmakers could make a decision? Up next.
My baby's back from the West Coast.
Here are those pictures that you asked for your school project? First day of school, cute as a button.
So long ago.
Oh, here's Grandma Florence after that flood wiped out the whole neighborhood.
Sometimes I just cannot believe all the storms we've gone through here.
I can only hope that we'll be able to leave this house to you one day, baby. You're our legacy.
Planning for these disasters will make sure we're safe, and is the best way to protect that legacy.
Ah, those beans smell heavenly.
Give Mom a little credit.
You know what? We should make an emergency communication plan. That way we're ready this year.
Great idea.
At my dorm, we have emergency kits for earthquakes and wildfires, but I'm sure there's something more local I can send you with the link.
Okay, smart. I'm coming to share with you guys.
Protect your legacy. Plan for natural disasters today. Visit ready.gov/plan.
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
This sweet dog has been waiting 200 days for her forever home and also has something in common with our reporter. OU Nightly's Abigail Franklin has more on this four-legged companion in this week's Pet of the Week.
With spring-like temperatures starting to stay and the first day of spring is just next week, Norman Animal Welfare has a sweet pit terrier mix looking for her forever owner. And her name's Abby. And no, I'm not the one up for adoption. Good. Meet Abby, a 2-year-old pup who's one of the longest stayed dogs, but is fresh out of training from Friends for Folks program and ready to find her new home.
So she went there and got trained on basic obedience, sit, stay, come, and she's doing really well. And now she's got a perfect blend of that personality, that exuberance, and then basic obedience to help her be a great fit for a good home.
For Abby, any home is a good home as she has energy and love.
She's going to be just as happy to run out and adventure and play and get the zoomies as to come in and just hang out and chill and be hugged on and loved on.
So whatever your home or lifestyle looks like, Abby will be the perfect addition for you, and her adoption fee is waived. While the Abby and Abby duo was fun for the day, she is looking for her new home and she's hoping it's yours and maybe even a spring break trip. So stop on by Norman Animal Welfare to give Miss Abby her second chance. Reporting for OU Nightly, Abigail Franklin.
If you're interested in our Pet of the Week, you can reach out to Norman Animal Welfare with any of the options on your screen. It's never too late to help a pet in need.
In more trouble for TikTok tonight, we know Congress is set to vote on a possible ban of the social media app. The House vote takes place tomorrow, and if the bill passes, TikTok will have 5 months to cut ties with its Chinese parent company, ByteDance. Cybersecurity issues with China are the biggest concern for the lawmakers backing the bill. Despite protests about free speech by the ACLU, President Biden says he will sign the bill if it makes it to his desk.
Coming up, a popular streaming service is breached by hackers.
Learn more about how the platform is helping those impacted coming up.
Stone, Emily, you know what they say. If you don't like the weather in Oklahoma, wait 5 minutes. It'll change. Well, we'll walk you through the changes right after this.
I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
See, Smokey thinks I'm funny.
There's so many rewards in life. You coming into our home was one of the greatest rewards we could have ever had.
You know, it took 20 years, and I got my third child, who was 17 at the time.
It's so cool to watch the adult that you've become, and you really have done as much for us as you think we've done for you.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here is a water conservation tip you can try. In the bathroom, turn off the water while you brush your teeth. You'll save about 4 gallons per minute. That comes out to about 200 gallons a week for a family of 4. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
I'm starting time for dinner.
Oh, terrific.
Faster dinner!
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Happy Tuesday, Oklahoma. Let's dive into our weather situation as it will be changing here over the next couple of hours and into your Wednesday and into your Thursday. So you're going to hear it a lot over the next 24 hours. The cap, what is the cap? It pretty much signals or denotes a capping inversion. That's the science term. What's it mean in real life terms? It's going to be a warm layer of air just above the surface at about 1,000 to 5,000 feet in the atmosphere, and it prevents air from the surface to rise up and form thunderstorms. But we need, there's a couple different ways we can break the cap. First way is to heat up the ground so it's warmer than that layer, and then thunderstorms will explode and develop. And there's also another way. We have some colder air, maybe a dry line or a front or a surface boundary that moves through, and that can kind of also get the cap eroded. So that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to have a cap in place, clouds, moisture is going to be in here, and we're going to have a lot of instability. That's going to be the setup, a classic severe setup. The question is, can we heat up enough, or can we break the cap, if you will? So here's our setup. We pick it up tomorrow afternoon at about noon. Here's our dry line extending from north central Oklahoma down the I-35 corridor, and then it's down the what would be Kilpatrick Turnpike as it goes down towards the Lawton area. And as we progress this through, the dry line slowly moves as we head towards 1-2 p.m. into Norman. And that's going to be our focal point, this dry line for storms to fire tomorrow afternoon, and that's going to be where we're watching. But then by tomorrow, late evening into the overnight hours, we're going to see the dry line retreat back west, and that's going to set up our next chance of severe weather that comes in Sunday. So here's our tornado risk. Conditions are going to be ripe for tornadoes if storms do develop. That's going to be the big if we can break that cap across the area. But from Norman, Oklahoma City, up towards Green Country, Tulsa, Miami, into parts of north central Oklahoma. That's where conditions are going to be favorable. All the ingredients in place, some moisture out there. We'll have enough energy for those storms. We'll have shear, which is basically winds changing with speed and direction as you go up in the atmosphere. So all those are going to be in place for tornadoes, wind, and hail. The flooding threat looks low, and it's just going to be if we can break that cap. And after 1 p.m., as that dry line starts to move eastward, that's when we're going to see that severe weather threat start, and then it will stop as we head Wednesday evening, and then we'll kind of recharge for Thursday. Behind the dry line, though, we are watching a fire threat. If fires do develop, they could spread with gusty winds out there and dry conditions behind the dry line. We have an extreme risk for fire weather conditions across the Texas Panhandle into western Oklahoma. Some of the verbiage out of the National Weather Service office here in Norman says we could have a what would be severe weather outbreak a fire weather outbreak as we head into there. So we have red flag warnings across what would be that part of the state. Here's your 7-day forecast. We are watching that would be threat of severe weather as we head Wednesday into Thursday, and then a cold front comes crashing through as we head into Friday. Emily.
Thank you so much, Coy. And one more reminder to sign up for OU Nightly's weather call for severe weather. Scan the QR code on your screen to register or search weather call in the App Store. It's only $1 a month, and you'll receive a call or text when severe weather alerts are issued for your location. And again, be sure to follow OU Nightly's social media pages. Your campus weather authority will be posting forecast updates. Roku says a data breach is impacting more than 15,000 account holders. The hackers used stored credit card information to make unauthorized purchases. The company said it has refunded customers impacted by the hack and also says it's secured the hacked accounts by having account holders reset their password. And up next, former Sooners in the NFL are getting some new threads as free agency opens.
Kaylee Jo Hummel joins us in studio now and has more about where they're headed next in sports.
And the rumor mill is swirling around Porter Moser and the possibility of him leaving. And Sooner legend Drake Stoops missed out on the NFL Combine, but he got his time at Oklahoma Pro Day today. I'll have more up in sports.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Water is our most precious resource and something that should be conserved and used wisely. Here are some water conservation tips you can try. In the kitchen, collect the excess water you use to rinse produce and use it to water houseplants. Also, soak your pots and pans instead of letting the water run while you scrape them. Water is life. This message was brought to you by the City of Norman.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Hello, I'm Kaylee Jo Hummel, and it's time for sports. Sooner fans have long called Oklahoma quarterback university, but at OU's Pro Day, it was a battle of the big boys. 12 players competed, 9 of which being linemen.
I'm content with my numbers today, so it's just, a blessing to be able to do this in front of all these people. They got on ESPN, which is, really cool to me, so I'm just happy. I think I proved that I'm an athlete.
Jonah Laulu caught the attention of NFL scouts, recording 4.59 seconds for his 20-yard shuttle and excelling at other drills. On the other side of the ball, all eyes were on Drake Stoops after he was notably missing from the NFL Combine.
Seemed like everybody was pretty worked up about it. Yeah. I can't allow myself to get, whether mad, sad, anything about it, because at the end of the day, I know I'm having an opportunity at Pro Day, and so that's what I have my eyes set on, and so I can continue to train and get ready for this, because at the end of the day, it's still an opportunity, just like the Combine.
The wide receiver caught all but one pass during position work.
From future to current pros, these Sooners in the NFL are stirring up free agency. Baker Mayfield signed a 3-year deal with Tampa Bay worth $100 million. Joe Mixon is on the move to Houston after the Bengals traded him to the Texans. Kenneth Murray Jr. is headed to the Titans with a 2-year, $15.5 million contract. And Hollywood Brown is a free agent. Switching from cleats to the court, Porter Moser's squad heads up to Kansas City for their final Big 12 tournament. In OU's last game, they fell to Texas 94-80. The Sooners are set to take on TCU Wednesday afternoon. The Frogs won the last battle between the two teams, 80-71. And no fear, Mosier is here to mosey on as OU men's basketball's head coach. Monday night, the coach denied all rumors linking him to the open job at DePaul. He posted to social media there was zero truth to the rumors, showing his love to Sooner Nation. Over on the diamond, Sydney Sanders proves once again that she can do it all. She was named the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association Player of the Week and the Big 12 Player of the Week. Sanders and the Sooners host a doubleheader today against Tarleton State, where they started at 4:30 and play again at 6:30. And the Bedlam battles in the Big 12 aren't quite over yet. OU baseball faces Oklahoma State right here in Norman at 6:30 tonight. These in-state rivals last met at the Big 12 Championship last season, where the Cowboys beat out the Sooners to advance to the semifinals. Stone, Emily.
Thanks, Kaylee Jo. When we return, a dog lost for 4 months in Vegas.
Hear this Aussie Doodle story up next.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Did you know that trash, like plastic bottles and fast food wrappers, can carry germs and bacteria? When these items are tossed in the street, they eventually find their way to a river or lake and have a negative impact on aquatic life. Keep our waters clean by putting your trash in the bin. For more information, visit bit.ly/Norman Stormwater.
Gracias. Thank you.
What's wrong, mijo? Donating to a pet's medical care can keep families together. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Is it time yet?
It's time.
Pump's doing chocolate dinner.
Oh, it's really
Donating pet food is one of the many ways you can help families in your community. Pets and people belong together. Learn more at petsandpeopletogether.org.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires.
Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
I'm Kariana Gamboa with an update from the state capitol. The Oklahoma Senate unanimously passed a bill that would increase the age for sexual consent. Currently, the age is 16, but the possible law change would give kids 2 more years of protection from predators. Senate Bill 615 now heads to the House. 12 states currently have the consent age at 18. Stone, Emily.
Thanks, Kariana. A lost dog reunites with his family after 4 months of being apart. Gunner went missing while under the care of a dog sitter, and someone saw the local story on a Las Vegas station and reached out.
A family took Gunner in after they didn't detect a chip, but agreed to give him back. And Gunner is now home back, safe and sound.
Well, speaking of staying safe and sound, we've got some severe weather on the way.
Yeah, Emily, let's get over to meteorologist OU Nightly meteorologist Coy Taylor for one final check. Coy?
Stone, Emily, that is exactly right. And here's going to be our setup tomorrow. We're going to have a dry line that's going to push eastward as we head tomorrow afternoon. That's going to serve as the focal point for the storms. We actually have radar turned on. This model in particular, and most of our models say storms do not form because of that capping inversion. And then we see the dry line push back west. Stone?
Well, thank you so much for watching OU Nightly. I'm Emily Faith.
And I'm Stone Weber. Good night.
You know you don't have to wear your PT gear anymore, right?
It's comfortable.
So how's civilian life treating you?
It's fine.
When I got out, I didn't want to admit that there was anything wrong because it felt like a failure. And then I realized, like, there's nothing to be ashamed of. So I started talking to someone. Maybe you are fine.